use this technique of allowing, this meditative technique of allowing, to kind of dig into the nervous system, to go in with no agenda, with no attempt to fix anything, but to actually be present, and more importantly, to honor this mechanism which has spent its entire existence attempting to protect your integrity, protect your innocence, hold on to that which is the most vital, the most valuable, the most you, so that it can survive long enough to have the opportunity as a spiritually mature adult to liberate it, to let it come out, and play. All right, so you came from that environment. You learned to push this material, the real you, out of sight so it could be protected. And now, as a conscious adult who realizes they're at least partially dysfunctional, you want to get back access to that. You now understand how this whole law of attraction and self-help thing works. You know that it's within you. You know that you have to kind of raise your vibration, and now you're set out to do that. And it isn't as easy as you think it is. And why is that? Why is that? Because this system is still protecting you. Remember, we have the innocence sitting in the middle. And we have this incredible machine that has built buffers around you to protect that innocence. We start out now on our little self-help thing. We think up here, this thing we call the ego, the mind, the conscious stuff, we think that's who we are. We're so wrapped up in the story, we see ourselves in the story now, trying to fix the story and fix the whole system. We literally become our parents again, our tribe again, trying to do what? Fix this. Does that sound familiar? That's what happened in the first place. That's how this whole thing got started. An intrusion from the outside saying you weren't okay as you were, you needed to be something else. The real you, the legitimate you, gets hidden off. You have to understand, your nervous system is perfectly defended. If it wasn't perfectly defended, defended, not dependent, defended. Perfectly defended. If it wasn't, you would have been dead by now. It learned to protect this through whatever the environment throws at it. So now here you come along and get your self-help techniques, you're doing your meditation, you're doing whatever it is your technique is, you're doing inner child work, you're doing shadow work, you're doing all this stuff, and it's not working. Why? Because the system's smarter than you. It doesn't matter what you throw at it. It is perfectly defended against. Perfectly defended against. But there is one thing, and one thing only, that it has no defense for whatsoever. Only one. And that is unconditional love. Unconditional love. Unconditional love and acceptance. That's what love is. Excuse me. That's what love is. Unconditional acceptance. Acceptance. Not acceptance after you've met all the prerequisites and checked on this, I'm this, I've accomplished this, I got this certificate. Not then. Unconditional acceptance, which means I accept it, you, whether you meet these standards or not. These standards are arbitrary. They came from nowhere. I accept you as you are. To accept yourself as you are is unconditional love. And that is the only thing that has ever healed anything. And that makes your vibration rise. Now, if you noticed in all those exercises, I repeat it all the time. No agenda. We're just here to find out what's here. We're allowing it to be as it is. Allowing is unconditional love. It's unconditional love in practice. It's an acceptance of yourself. It is a total acceptance of yourself, even when it hurts, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's discouraging, no matter what's going on, no matter what emotional pattern is going on, no matter physical pattern is going on, you accept it. You allow it to be there. You give it permission to exist. That is unconditional love. And the nervous system has no defense for that. None. It melts like an ice cube. It just opens up. And as it begins to open up, it begins to trust you. And as it begins to trust you, it begins to allow you to work with this. Yeah, this is raw energy, right? I mean, just because you have a gift for music doesn't mean you know how to play yet. You have to have discipline and training, and there's right ways of doing stuff, and there's wrong ways of doing stuff. So training this energy is one thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about honoring it and giving it an opportunity to grow. So now, when the defenses have started to come down, you can begin to work with the energy. The self-help techniques begin to work. They actually begin to have an effect because the defenses have been dropped. The system is allowing you now. You have become the benevolent universe that it has been waiting for. You have now taken the role of the benevolent one, the one that's here to accept, the one that's here to improve and grow. And now, all of those techniques that you learned, they start to work. They start to work brilliantly. The system begins to respond very quickly because, you know what? Once it knows it can come out and play, damn, it comes out and plays. It's like, take a rubber ball and squeeze it. It's all out of shape, won't bounce, won't roll. The moment you release it to your hand, what happens? It springs back into its natural shape by virtue of its own resiliency because it knows who it's supposed to be. This is you, my friends. This is you. Before I bring this to a close, I'm going to suggest that you try something on yourself that you've never tried before. That you say to yourself, my God, I'm not broken. I've been taught to think I am. And start walking through your day like someone who is enough. Someone who is equal to every situation. Someone who doesn't need to prepare in advance and have all the plans. Someone who doesn't need to know what to say. Someone who is already present and is capable of reacting to anything because you are. All that energy is there and it is available to you. Now in the next video you're going to get, I'm going to go a little bit more into this, but I'm going to show you about the next level of training that I have for this. This is just the beginning, as you can see. I have the experience that I had, which I'll talk about in the next level, of original innocence happened when I was 19 years old. I'm 60 now, and I have been working on it ever since. It's a lifetime work. It is something that goes on forever. Until, of course, all of the defenses are gone. All of the energy is open. All of it is flowing naturally. And when that happens, they call you enlightened. They call you a sage. That is what liberation is. It's not mystical. It's not magical. It's not out there in the universe. It is simply being who you are without restrictions. So in the next video, I'm going to tell you about how you can get to the next level of training that I have, the more in-depth training I have. I'm going to give you a great detail about what it's about. In the meantime, take everything in these courses. I've given you've got all these, you got all the exercises you can do a bunch of times. You got the first exercise from the Just Allow It audio course. If you spent the $17, you've got the whole first section of the Just Allow It course. And if you haven't yet, I hope you do it now. It's still available to everybody who does this course. $17 for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Think about an hour and a half of the internal training that we're talking about. This unconditional love that we're talking about. This way of being with yourself that actually honors who you are and lets you come out. Try it. Experiment with just living your life as if you weren't broken, as if you were enough. I know it'll feel awkward at first. You may even feel a little bit like a phony. Oh, I'm feeling like forget it. Who cares? Who cares if you feel like a phony? Try it. See what it feels like. You'll be amazed at how quickly it responds to it. Because guess what? It's true. You aren't broken. You are okay right now, just as you are. So until the next video shows, or I see you at one of my events, my classes, or another one of my products, I really want to thank you very much for signing up for this. I am deeply, deeply moved that you've spent this much time with me listening to what I have to say. I hope you completely absorb and immerse yourself in the 7 principles of Law of Attraction 2.0, and that you have a better life than you ever dreamed possible. Because remember, you're not broken. So you can stop fixing and start living. This is G.P. Walsh. Until next time.